December 16. God with us as never before. Matthew 1:18 through 25. Now the birth of Jesus Christ took place in this way. When his mother Mary had been betrothed to Joseph, before they came together, she was found to be with child from the Holy Spirit. And her husband Joseph, being a just man and unwilling to put her to shame, resolved to divorce her quietly. But as he considered these things, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream, saying, Joseph, son of David, do not fear to take Mary as your wife, for that which is conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit. She will bear a son, and you shall call his name Jesus, for he will save his people from their sins. All this took place to fulfill what the Lord had spoken by the prophet. Behold, the virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which means God with us. When Joseph woke from sleep, he did as the angel of the Lord commanded him. He took his wife, but knew her not until she had given birth to a son, and he called his name Jesus. Mary and Elizabeth marvel at what God is doing, but Joseph has not yet been told about any of this. All he hears is that his betrothed, Mary, is pregnant. He knows that he is not the father, for he has not had relations with her. Mary must have broken her commitment to him. The law of Moses allowed a penalty of death for a woman who betrayed her marital commitment. Joseph could have demanded punishment for this betrayal. At the very least, he could have exposed her and denounced her publicly to clear his own good name. If he were a vindictive man, he might want to embarrass her for humiliating him. But Joseph was not the vengeful type. He had no desire to shame or harm Mary. He decided he would divorce her quietly. Jewish law considered the marriage legally binding once the agreement had been made, even if the wedding itself had not yet taken place, even if the marital commitment had not been consummated. Before Joseph can discreetly dissolve the marriage, God sends an angel to inform him about the truth of this amazing moment in human history. The angel addresses Joseph as Son of David, a phrase pregnant with the hopes of the centuries. He tells Joseph to take Mary as his wife, that she has not been unfaithful to him, that her pregnancy is a miracle of God. The child she will give birth to, he must name Jesus, a variant of a popular Hebrew name which means Yahweh saves. Joshua and Hosea are other forms of this same name. The reason Joseph is to give the child this name is that he will save his people from their sins. Matthew adds commentary from Isaiah 7:14. In this passage, the prophet speaks to King Ahaz, who is facing a combined attack from Syria and the northern kingdom of Ephraim. God promises that this alliance will fail, that he will defend Judah from this attack. As a sign that this will happen quickly, God tells Ahaz that a young woman, perhaps Isaiah's wife or the king's wife, will give birth to a son. This son is to be named Emmanuel, which means God with us, as a sign of God's presence with the besieged people of Judah. Before that child is old enough to tell the difference between good and evil, the lands of Syria and Ephraim, Judah's enemies at this time, will have fallen to the king of Assyria. Matthew looks to that critical moment in Israel's history and sees there a truth that applies even more powerfully to the present. If that unknown child in Isaiah's day was a symbol of God's presence among us, the birth of Jesus becomes the reality that this symbol pointed to, because now, by the miraculous pregnancy of Mary through the mystery of the Holy Spirit's activity, God is literally about to come among us in the flesh. Joseph wakes from his sleep and follows God's instructions given by the angel. He takes Mary as his wife. Matthew is very clear on this point. Joseph did not have marital relations with Mary until after the child was born. He knew her was a common Hebrew euphemism, much like our "he slept with her." Mary was a virgin until after the birth of Jesus. An important side note must be made here. The Roman Catholic tradition has developed the teaching of the perpetual virginity of Mary from the later tradition of the Church, not from the New Testament witness. This unfortunate addition was born of an unbiblical assumption, popular during some periods of church history, that sex is in some way sinful or negative. But the biblical record is clear in stating that Mary and Joseph, once Jesus was born, had the normal marital relations that any married couple would have. To say that Joseph did not consummate his marriage with Mary until after Jesus was born can only mean that once Jesus was born, the consummation took place. This in no way diminishes the virtue of Mary, who by all biblical accounts was a faithful and loving wife to her husband Joseph.